Senator Muir. Senator Dastiari. Senator Muir.
Thank you, Mr President. My question is to the Minister representing the Minister for Communications, Senator Fifield. Is the Minister aware that, of the campaign to bring about media reform so that regional broadcasters are able to compete fairly with big city media? Can the Minister inform the Senate whether there has been any serious discussion of the issue within senior levels of government, what the government's position is, and whether there will be or has been a detailed discussion paper on the issue that will bring to light the various agendas of the media outlets, principally Channel 7, which are opposed to the changes?
The Assistant Minister for Social Services, representing the Minister for Communications, Senator Fifield.
Thank you, Mr President, and can I thank Senator Muir for his question and for his notice. Could I start, Mr President, by pointing to Prime Minister Turnbull's statement yesterday evening that the culture of our leadership is going to be one that's thoroughly consultative, a traditional cabinet government that ensures we make decisions in a collaborative manner. Prime Minister Turnbull has had many conversations with media businesses across all sectors of the industry, including the free-to-air and subscription television sectors throughout 2014 and 2015, to take soundings on their views on areas for potential reform. It remains appropriate and sensible for the government to consider potential reforms to the existing ownership rules in this environment. However, we will continue the conversation with industry on these issues, I should say, and the Minister is committed to ensuring that any proposed media reforms are supported across the sector. Unlike the Labor Party, where former Minister Conroy gave the Parliament barely a week to review complex measures, you'll recall, Mr President, which amounted to a huge and unprecedented expansion of intrusive government control over news media, the Coalition will continue to consult in a calm and methodical manner with senior executives across the industry. The government will continue to consult with the community and consider proposals accordingly.
Thank you, Minister. Senator Muir, a supplementary question.
Thank you, Mr President. Recent media reports and my own investigations reveal that there is cross-party support for media reforms that would deliver a fair go for regional broadcasters who are essentially being run into the ground because of regulation that unfairly advantages big city stations. Can the Minister inform the Chamber what steps the government is taking to ensure that these reforms are urgently addressed, given the broad base of support that exists for the changes?
Minister.
Thank you, President. Thank you, Senator Muir. As stated, the government will continue to consider potential media reforms as part of its ongoing deregulation agenda. The government appreciates the importance of local commercial television broadcasters in regional and remote Australia, including the role they play in providing local news and current affairs. The deregulation roadmap for the portfolio was released by Mr Turnbull and the Parliamentary Secretary in May 2014. The roadmap indicates that the government will consider reforms to the regulation of media ownership and control through 2014-15, among other potential deregulatory reform measures. The government is, Mr President, committed to maintaining these arrangements to ensure that local news and information in regional Australia remains available to audiences.
Thank you, Minister. Senator Muir, final supplementary question.
Thank you, Mr President. Noting that there is a consensus among the regional broadcasters, WIN, Prime, Southern Cross Austereo and Imparja, as evidenced by their recent Save Our Voices campaign, why is the government holding back these urgent needed reforms, and what will it take for the government to listen to concerns of regional Australia and remove outdated media ownership legislation?
Minister.
President, the government appreciates the importance of local commercial broadcasters in regional and remote Australia, again including the role they play in providing local news and current affairs. The Save Our Voices campaign reflects the concerns of regional commercial TV broadcasters that the existing media control rules are hampering their efforts from competing effectively in the media marketplace. It's important to note that irrespective of any changes to the media control and ownership rules, local content on regional commercial television and radio will be preserved through existing licence conditions on regional commercial TV and radio licensees. These conditions require commercial television licensees in major regional television licence areas and commercial radio licensees in most regional radio licence areas to broadcast minimum levels of local content. The government is, Mr President, committed to maintaining these arrangements to ensure that local news and information in regional Australia remains available to audiences.
Thank you, Minister.